Yo, what is up, guys? We are going to find some plays real quickly on Underdog Fantasy Prize Picks. Underdog Fantasy's been hot. We hit 3 out of the 4 plays. Yesterday, we went through on live stream. We had these 3 CSGO plays, and then also we had a cash here. 3 of the last 4. Can't complain here. Can't lay pushes, but whatever. And then I know a lot of people are sweating this with me. We need Austin Hubbard versus Court Holaba over 12 fight minutes. So anyways, we got a lot of good plays currently open, but let's find some more. So what we can do is we can start out on PrizePicks. There were actually a fair amount of discrepancies kind of in the market. So if you take a look here, let's start out with League of Legends. You can see this player, Aloya, right? OddsJam's a very simple tool. All it's doing is pointing out value in the market. That's only going to help make you a better sports bettor. So you can see this player, Aloya, his line on PrizePicks is 8.5. JockMKT has his line all the way down at 6.5. And Underdog Fantasy is at 7, right? So as sharp bettors, we treat all of this information, right? We're sharp bettors. We're treating this as information, right? Every book posting lines. All these books have invested millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. So even if you don't use JockMKT, knowing that their line is 2 kills lower, these are crazy inefficiencies, right? PrizePicks has a line at 8.5. JockMKT's at 6.5. You will never see that in the NBA. It only happens in esports where the markets are super inefficient. And sportsbooks just, they can't manage their esports lines. There's too many games and they screw them up. Right. And you can see PrizePicks is too high relative to the other data points we have in the market. So that's the first play we can go with on PrizePicks. Nothing better than an under in League of Legends player kills. So what we can do is we can also go here. So I'll just pull up, I'm currently in California. So I have access to PrizePicks, Fliff. So those are the main sports books I'm using. So the different tools on OddsJam, the positive EV tool is a very simple tool. All this tool is doing is pointing out big discrepancies in where sports books are pricing a line, right? So you can see here, plus 168 on FanDuel. It's pointing out big discrepancies in the odds, whereas the fantasy optimizer is pointing out, where there's big discrepancies between the fantasy sites, which are legal in most states, Florida, California, everything. PrizePicks has this guy's line at 8.5. All the other, platforms that currently have esports lines posted are lower. So that gives us confidence that we should be on the under. So then we can check out this play. OddsJam's recommending we take Diana Taurasi over 4 assists. So you can see, where does Underdog? Underdog, it doesn't even look like has an assist lineup. But regardless, this works kind of nicely, right? These players are on the same team. They're both guards. Maybe we actually skip it. Maybe a little bit of negative correlation. Honestly, I'm not particularly sure. What else do we like? How about this? So here we have a CFL play. So this play looks great, right? So let's go over to the Canadian Football League. Again, I don't care what sport I'm betting on. So many people, everyone loves the NFL. But honestly, sportsbooks watch their lines like a hawk for the NFL, right? Like you can see here, PrizePicks has Brady Oliveira, CFL tonight, Canadian Football League. Get excited for NFL. PrizePicks has this guy's line at 74.5. FanDuel, 5 yards higher. That's a data point, right? DraftKings has him at 81.5. So the other books that are posting CFL lines are saying, whoa, PrizePicks has their line too low, so we want to take the over. So really, I follow a very data-driven approach, to my bets, probably more than most people. I just follow. If I'm finding these inefficiencies in the market, spots where I'm going to win long term. It's pretty simple. So I like this play on Jessica Shepard. We actually looked at it earlier on the live stream, but there were some better plays available. So I didn't end up including it, but whatever. We can go ahead. We can include this. So here we have 4 picks. I try to place 5 pick entries on PrizePicks. You'll see basically all the plays I'm giving out on PrizePicks are going to be 5 pick flex plays. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, you'll see me, I'm largely giving out these 3 pick entries. And the reason is Underdog Fantasy, you're getting a 6x payout for 3-pick entries, right? You have 3 picks. So just like this, you're getting a 6x payout. Whereas on PrizePicks for a 3-pick entry, you're only getting a 5x payout. So it really matters, long story short, on these platforms, how many picks you're going with. So what else do we like? Let's take a look here. We can see there's some esports line discrepancies. Jewel Lloyd under 4.5 rebounds. How do we feel about this? Where does Underdog have the line? They have our line at 4.5 rebounds as well. Just kind of scanning through. I don't really love these plays. You know, you can middle bet them. So like middle betting is a pretty simple strategy. We have a huge discrepancy between JockMKT and PrizePicks and where they're setting Ilioya's line. PrizePicks has the line at 8.5, so you could take the under on PrizePicks. You could take the over 6.5 on JockMKT. And then if, you know, this League of Legends player has exactly 7 or 8 kills in the first 3 maps, then you're going to win both bets. So that's called middle betting. And you can do that, and OddsJam is good for that. You know, like here, for example, you can see there's different middle bets. SportsBattle, you know, like esports, there's just tons of line discrepancies. So you can middle bet. You know, if you can find a big discrepancy, take the under, take the over when books have their line super out of sync. But anyways, we can take a look. You know, so long story short, I don't really love these lines where, at least for taking an outright bet on PrizePicks, where there's only 2 sportsbooks posting lines. Like here for NPL, CSGO, PrizePicks has his headshots line at 19. SportsBattle, another site, has the line at 17.5. But it's not really clear, right? No other books are posting lines. Like which sportsbook is kind of screwing up. So maybe the final play we go with, I'm trying to move quickly, is, you know, these plays in yellow. You prefer to take the picks in green in general, but maybe the last play we go with is Niski under 11. So let's check out this play. Let's go back to League of Legends. So we want him under 12. I apologize. And this actually works well. So I've explained before, but what's really cool about PrizePicks is on PrizePicks. So let's go back to where are we looking? So if we go back to esports right here on Underdog Fantasy, you're going to notice, like, unfortunately, in League of Legends, they don't let you play players, right, on the same team on Underdog Fantasy, both to go over together. You can see they say, no, this is invalid. You can't pair players from the same team. And the reason for that is players on the same team are positively correlated to go the same direction. So long story short, you know, it's kind of like if we're looking for, let's say, foo. So let's just lock this in. I don't want the line to move. And then I can kind of explain. So let's lock it in for $100. We got a 5-pick flex play, throwing out darts. So Brady Oliveira, the sports books were saying, yo, this guy's line should be at like 80. So again, OddsJam, it's not some magic money printer. It's just pointing out value in the market, which is going to help you get an edge over the books. Having an edge is how you win long term. 305K1. It's from having an edge. All these picks I'm giving out are always, whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, I'm just giving out plays with an edge. We were really close. Also, we almost went 4 for 4 yesterday just with data-driven bets on Underdog. Hunter would have cashed out this 6-pick entry, but you can see he had 21 headshots. But bad beats are just kind of part of the game. No one can see the future. It's about winning long term. So here you can see my 5-pick flex play. Again, Aloya and Niski are on the same team. So on Underdog Fantasy, you can't pair players on the same team, both to go under, because these outcomes are positively correlated. So positive correlation, it may sound like a complicated term, but it's pretty simple, right? Like all it means is, you know, like if we're going to take Mahomes over, it probably makes sense to take Kelsey over. Like on PrizePicks, any 2-pick entry, you're getting a 3x payout. It wouldn't make sense to take Mahomes over and Kelsey's under, right? Kelsey is Mahomes' main target. If you want to take Mahomes over, you should be pairing Kelsey over. Those outcomes are positively correlated. If Mahomes has a great season, if he throws for 6,000 passing yards, Travis Kelsey's a lot more likely to go over his receiving yards line, right? And it's the same thing in League of Legends. If you go through the data, you know, these players are on the same team, so they're positively correlated to both go under. If Niski has a horrible game and goes under, then Aloya's more likely to go under as well. So anyways, let's go back here. We can take a look at kind of like, again, I love FanDuel. I just don't have access to it right now. So the positive EV tool is really good for like sports books, kind of like FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, just pointing out, hey, FanDuel is pricing this at plus 170. The other books have this around, plus 135, plus 140-ish. That's a big line discrepancy. That's valuable information to us as sharp bettors, right? So it's just pointing out value in the market, helping you get an edge, and that's how you win long term. And again, the reason I love sports betting is, again, the markets are very fragmented, right? Like you think about the price of Facebook stock, you go to any Robinhood, whatever, the price is always going to be the same on these platforms. There's no inefficiencies in the market. What makes sports betting so profitable, right? And the reason you can really get an edge and rack up a lot of money on these platforms is all these books set lines independently and they all screw up. So as sharp bettors, we just follow the data and we extract these inefficiencies in the market to get an edge and win long term. So anyways, we can go back to Underdog and we can start looking for some plays on Underdog. Ooh, so this play looks pretty interesting. Jessica Shepard over 9 points. So I like to sometimes just like pull up the sportsbook screen. What this tool does, again, it's not like giving you bet recommendations, but what it is really useful for is it shows you kind of the entire market. So if we just go over to WNBA and then we look at, player points, and then we can pull up Jessica Shepard, you can see it's like, well, Underdog Fantasy, it looks like they're a little bit asleep at the wheel, right? Like they have Jessica Shepard's line at 9 points. PrizePicks is higher at 9.5. That's a data point. PrizePicks is $1 billion company that has invested millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. You're not going to create a better model than the sports books, right? It's just not going to happen. Betano, another data point, another sports book with a sophisticated model. They're pricing her line at 10.5. ParlayPlay 9.5. So that is all information that leads us to believe, hey, that's a good bet, right? And what we could do is we could also middle bet it. If you're one of those people who's a little bit of a baby, you don't like risk, we just took the under 8.5 on PrizePicks. So on Underdog, we could middle it if we wanted to. I mean, it would be better to middle on JockMKT, right? Because again, JockMKT had the line even. Whoa. So here we have a sexy play on Underdog Fantasy. Let's go. Esports lines are starting to drop. So you can see Underdog Fantasy is the one screwing up here, right? They have this line at 9. PrizePicks is higher at 10. JockMKT's higher at 10.5. That's valuable information for us as a sharp bettor. Jonquel Jones, who's my girl, we got a big sweat on Jonquel Jones to cash out this $5,000 flex play. And here, if Austin Hubbard goes over, we're still going to get the 2x. Kind of nice about PrizePicks. We're still going to get paid out. We're already 3 for 4. If the last pick wins, we're going to get paid out. But anyways, we can take a look at Jonquel Jones. So if we go over to player rebounds, just take a look at the data. So you can see Underdog has the line at 10.5. All the other books are at 10 or 9.5. Information, right? That's information for us as sharp bettors. So we want to take her under 10.5 rebounds. So now we have a little 3-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy. 3 uncorrelated picks, all with an edge. Again, Underdog gives you that 6x payout for 3-pick entries. So you'll see me place a lot of 3-pick entries on Underdog. Let's get it. So esports lines are starting to drop. It kind of seems like esports lines come out, all different times throughout the day. There's just so many games. Again, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't know that much about esports, but it doesn't really matter, right? Like, as long as you're betting with your gut, you're not going to beat the sports books. No offense. That's what 99% of people do. They think they can outsmart the sports books with their own knowledge of watching sports, just like everyone else. The way you beat the books, consistently get an edge, win long-term is by following the data. But esports, there's just so many games, right? Like books cannot manage their lines. They're all running around kind of stupidly, trying to set lines independently, and they don't do that great of a job at it. Right? There's a lot of inefficiencies in the market. So if we look at this player aiming, JockMKT has his line at 13. We could middle bet over 13 on JockMKT, under 15 on Underdog. SportsBattle has the line at 14. So that's interesting information for us as sharp bettors. So what else do we like? So we have aiming under 10. So that's a decent pick. And I can refresh this. And we can see, did PrizePicks already move this line on Aloya? I mean, again, I say this all the time. It's really useful if you know how to navigate these sports books, move quickly. I mean, you can see we bet him under 8.5. Well, they still have the line at 8.5. So I'm completely wrong. They haven't moved that. But sometimes these lines move quick, right? So you prefer, like you want to know how to navigate these sports books as quickly as possible. In general, I would say PrizePicks tends to be sharper or smarter than Underdog Fantasy. They're better at pricing lines. So if there's only a discrepancy between PrizePicks and Underdog and you need another pick, I would definitely recommend taking the play on Underdog as opposed to on PrizePicks. It tends to be that Underdog Fantasy's usually the one screwing up that's wrong. Anyways, let's go back here. Let's go back to Underdog Fantasy. I mean, we can pull up the sports books. I know I can't bet on FanDuel. I know a lot of people bet on FanDuel. Here's a good tennis bet, right? More books, more profitable betting opportunities. But here's a play I can place on Fliff. Most other books have this priced around plus 100, Fliff offering plus 115. So what we can do is we can pull up Fliff, and we want Jackson under 5.5 hits allowed. And we just got to navigate the book quick enough to get this play down before the line moves. I mean, you're really like a day trader taking advantage of inefficiencies in the market. So you can't take forever. So where is hits allowed? Player hits allowed. Where are you? Where are you? Trying to move quickly. Hits allowed. Here we go. And then we want Jackson, Fliff cash. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So again, like this isn't passive income. All these sports books, like this bet has a positive ROI, a positive profit margin, but the max bet size is 250. So that's why I always tell people, like, you need to place as many bets as possible on a given day if you're trying to make serious cash sports betting, because you can get an edge. But I mean, as you see on Underdog Fantasy, my max betting limit for esports is only $100. So let's go back here. So we can refresh this. And again, what's really powerful about sports betting is your returns are daily. In general, you're betting on games that are today, right? People always talk about, oh, the stock market goes up 8% a year on average. But guess what? It doesn't really matter, because in sports betting, if you can just get a 1% ROI, just 1% EV plays like this one, 1% ROI on your bets. This game is today. Over the course of a month, if you're earning a 1% ROI on average daily, that's 30% over the course of a month. And that's why your bankroll can compound and scale very quickly in sports betting as a sharp bettor. So this play looks incredible on FanDuel. Early line for tomorrow. I mean, Caesars has this line priced at plus 146. FanDuel's at plus 210. I mean, very clear value, in the market. So I'm not sure why this fantasy screen isn't loading anything right now. Let's try refreshing this. So stupid. Anyways, kind of annoying. So let's go back here. Let's take a look at Fliff. Well, that fixes itself. Anything else on Fliff we want to go with? Honestly, not really. I'll call this live stream for now. Hopefully it was helpful. We locked in a play on PrizePicks. We locked in some good plays on Underdog Fantasy, right? This play right here. And this play on PrizePicks if you're still looking to tail. So hopefully this live stream was helpful. Any questions you have, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much for your time.